Welcome to the Friends of Feedy's podcast, brought to you by Feed Canada, our funding partner, ISED, and founding partner, the Saskatchewan Food Centre. This show is all about celebrating the incredible journeys of female entrepreneurs in the agri-food and food manufacturing sector. We're here to dish out the secrets of success and serve up a side of inspiration along the way. We are the Feed program where dreams are made, businesses are born, and the agri-food world is your oyster. Let's dine together. Hello, and welcome back to the Friends of Feedy's podcast, the podcast where we celebrate the stories, grit, and creativity of Canada's food founders. I'm your host, Lindsay Toth, and today we're diving into a story that starts where all the best Canadian stories do, at the lake. My guest today is Sandra Pern, founder of Lake Life Caesar Co., a brand that bottled up the joy of summer weekends and turned it into a business. Her from-scratch Caesar mix started as a family favorite, and it's sparked a Caesar revolution. So let's raise a glass to that. Welcome to the show, Sandra.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Lindsay. That's awesome. Thanks for that introduction as well.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's just kind of start at the beginning here. I'm familiar with your story, having spoken to you about it in the past, but just to let other people be kind of aware of kind of how your product came into being.
Yeah, for sure. So my husband and I, so his name's Bryce, we love Caesars and we love camping. So we were always making Caesars up at the lake, but just the whole process of making them was really a pain. So we had to bring out all of the different ingredients. We didn't have the space in our camper fridge. I was always forgetting something. And it's just really, to make a Caesar, it's kind of hard. Like it takes some, it's a little skill. You got to put the right amount of this and the right amount of that. And yeah, it was just always a process. And it always takes a long time to make a Caesar. So Bryce had this idea. He's like, well, why don't we just put all of our favorite stuff in a mason jar and we'll just bring that to the lake with us. And then we just have to use a little bit of it and we don't have to bring all the ingredients. It saves space in the fridge. It feels like a win-win. So he kind of started doing that, and it took a little tweaking here and there to see what was just right. But eventually it kind of caught on, and it was just like handy to have this like jar of Caesar mix in the fridge is what we called it. And then he he made this little bar at the lake, and he stood there and he self-declared that it was Lake Life Caesar Co. And he just kind of, from then our family was like, well, bring us a jar of that mix, bring us a jar of your mix. So we ended up kind of just bringing it and sharing it with family and friends. And then we got to a place that, I don't know, more people were kind of requesting it. So I finally got the recipe from Bryce, which was really nice. And then, I just kind of threw it on Facebook like one December. And I said, I'm making up some Caesar mix. If anybody wants some, like, just let me know, send me a message. And within 24 hours, we had 100 orders. And I was like, wow, like, how am I going to make this all? It just seemed like a big job. And then also I'm like, can I make this all? What's happening here? So it kind of just started like that. And we were just selling to like family and friends and just, and it was right at the beginning of COVID also, like when we started kind of taking off with it. So that would have been like March of 2020. And so people would just kind of like come and pick it up from our house and come and go. And then it wasn't too long after that a store in town, the Home Hardware in Lloydminster, reached out to us and they wanted to sell it. And I was like, okay, well, what do we need to do to make that happen? Because I'm pretty sure just making it in my kitchen is not legit. So we took the proper steps and started making it in a commercial kitchen. And being in Lloydminster, there's a little bit of a gray area with the border city because we had to do some in Alberta, some in Saskatchewan. But so then it just kind of word of mouth got around, and we started like getting to a place that I wanted to sell it like across Canada and more, because it's just the provincial regulations were really tricky. So I reached out to the food center in Saskatoon, and that kind of like started that whole journey. Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there.
No, it's perfect. It's an interesting tangent that people want to hear. So
yeah. So really it just started like at the lake, and it has happened very organically. We're super grateful for like just people trying it and sharing it. And that's kind of how it's grown.
Yeah, I love that story. I've heard that before from you. We've done a few things together over the years, and I love hearing that because so many people are in a place where they're like, well, I want to start a business. What should I make the product? And just like that kind of inverse of that, of like, oh, we just had something that everyone loved so much, and like, I guess now we're starting a business. Like, it's kind of like a magical piece of that story.
For sure. I think, yeah, we are very fortunate that we kind of had that piece to start with, because you need a good product to sell. That's kind of what makes it, right? And yeah, I think we're both like entrepreneurs by heart a little bit. We are both teachers actually, but my husband is a vice principal now, and I've been doing this full time. But yeah, it is. We were very lucky. And honestly, it started like we didn't do any advertising or marketing really. It was mostly like, I mean, social media a bit, but it was people sharing it and just like being so supportive. And then like businesses reaching out to us and being like, can we carry your product?
Yeah, that in itself too is so amazing too. We get a lot of
Mhm.
people looking on how do we get into stores and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that being the steps, but it's so nice if you have someone else reaching out to you, like being like, "Hey, we have a spot for you. Can you bring us stuff?" So that's awesome.
I think it really is like customers that have tried it. If they go into a location and are like, you have to bring this in, it does wonders. Like for us to just go into a store and be like, hey, would you like to buy our stuff? They get that all the time. They're always like having, when they have no idea what we are, they don't know how to sell it. But if they have customers coming in and are like, we're going to buy this if you have it in your stock, it just like, I don't know, it seems to help a lot. So we've kind of always like encouraged people, like if you're in an area and you want it closer to you, just ask a business to bring it in and we'll get it there for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. So yeah, we got a little bit, or you're just kind of starting to talk about the process of working with the food center and stuff. But yeah, so for some other entrepreneurs who are maybe very early in that stage of being in their own kitchen and like moving into a commercial kitchen, or possibly looking into kind of like looking into co-packing, all those sort of things. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that? Kind of what moved you to the food center and kind of how that process worked for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big process, and it still is. Like every production run there is a big deal and it's a lot of work. But we were kind of, like I said, we were making it in the commercial kitchen. And I was at the place that like we were having stores reach out to us, but I wasn't sure that I could make enough to secure that inventory. And I never ever wanted to be in a place that I couldn't fulfill in our. So people would be like, you got to sell this at Sobeys. You have to sell this at Co-op. You have, yes, but like I can't make it all. It's a lot of work to make this all. And just, so we were at this place, we were like hiring family members to come into the commercial kitchen with us. And we would spend like a full weekend in there and maybe make up like 1,500 bottles. And it was hard work. Like we were like on our feet and we're just like, this is, I'm not sure. And we couldn't even sell it all across Canada. So I just knew in my heart, I was like, it's going to cost us something to go to a co-packer, but it's worth it, and then to also have that CFIA certification is life-saving. To have all of the paperwork and the documentation they have there. So yeah, I reached out. I was looking at a bunch of different co-packers and just wondering how I could make this work. I had already done some shelf life testing. I had just sent it to a different type of lab. And I knew at that point we had a year shelf life testing. So I was like, even if we put this investment into the food center, I know that I will have like some product, like it'll be good for a while. And now we've actually extended that shelf life to 2 years, which is awesome, like through the food center process and just their testing. But yeah, I knew that I wasn't at a place that I could even reach out to stores because I couldn't make enough product for those stores. So once I did like my research, I lots of calls, lots of emails, even visited a couple places, but the food center was just so fantastic to work with. At the time, they were also like the most affordable for us. It was like a little, Edmonton has kind of a type of center like that. And they're a little closer to us being in Lloyd, but we just really liked what the food center had to offer. They were so willing to work with us on our recipe too, because we had to change our recipe a little bit, to scale up. That was a process. And that was a little bit hard. Like that probably took almost a year, truly, to get that like refined to be like, no, this is where it needs to be. But they were fantastic and kept working with us. And they still are to this day. Like when we go into a production run, they're making sure those labels are on there properly. They're making sure there's no crinkles. They take care of it like it's their own product. And we really value that. Like they are just wonderful. We can't say enough great things. So I think, yeah, I knew that we were at a place that I wanted to scale up because we were getting some traction and some bigger businesses were reaching out to us. So I knew I had that kind of, well, if I make this, I'll be able to sell to them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah, the food center is great. We're based out of the Saskatchewan Food Center for anyone who's not aware of that, the feed program. And yeah, some people aren't aware, but the Saskatchewan Food Center itself is also a nonprofit. So it's, there's funding, there's things to make this all work. Obviously, people still need to like pay for this work to be done, because there's a cost to it, but it's really nice that there is like the goal is just supporting other people in making food products, and there's no like worries about like recipes and everything. Like there's everything is kept confidential and all of that.
For sure. Very
Yeah,
professional. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Like we don't even know any other businesses that are in there unless they've told us. Like they keep everything like very like sealed lips. Like it's yeah, you wouldn't even know. And they are just so professional and wonderful there. Yeah. And like the whole thing is too, that's like their expertise. I am not a chef. Like I'm not like I love the business part of it. And when they helped us scale our recipe too, like I said, that was quite a process, but the food scientists were so supportive and like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And we've even developed some new recipes with them. And just having, like, I still have to organize everything to make sure I have the ingredients, the packaging, the labeling, like, I still need to make sure I have all of that prepared and ready for them. But it just takes out like the stress of the time. Like when you're a small business and it's just me that's doing this. We do have we've hired a gal, we've contracted somebody out for our social media, but it's which is helpful for sure. Um, yeah, it's I don't have time to like actually make the product anymore. Like I need to be working on the business and not just like, so I think you have to like decide like what are my strengths and where can I like really help grow this, and what is something that I can like, put my energy into, but and trust that other people are also going to get this done. And I do have that trust in the food center for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to hear that too, because I think that's another area that people sometimes tend to get stuck up on is they love their product so much and they're so excited to work on elements or like their product things in the business, but the actual bigger picture of working on the business and like bringing
Mhm.
all these pieces together sometimes gets missed because they get a little bit too narrowed in. So yeah, I love that you mentioned that because that's a good reminder for people.
Yeah, and it is hard to let go. Like there's a lot of areas I can't let go. I'm not very good at it. So, but that is one I just know that they're like professionals, and we've worked so much together that like now we've spent that time and we still go in for the production runs. There might be one that I make sure everything's like there and I trust that they can get it all taken care of, but we're still in there. Like and we're in there at least once a month. We produce about 2,400 bottles production run now.
Amazing.
But this last, I don't know, like I'm just trying to get ready for Christmas, but we did two in the last 2 weeks, and we have another one coming up on the 17th. So it's like, it's been a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of all hands on deck because yeah, I'm sure Christmas is the busy season.
It is. And last year we were like in there in November, and I'm like, nah, never again. Like it's, I want to stockpile our stuff so we can, because we have the markets and we have two young kids that are in hockey. So life is busy.
Never too much extra time just around. So yeah, I wanted to mention too for someone listening who might not be aware or might not know. So with Feed, we have a lot of different programming and stuff. And one of the things that you came in for was we did a pitch competition. That was in this past spring, and you actually won the pitch competition, which was amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what kind of ended up happening with your prize and what you're able to do with that?
Yeah, well, that it was such a great experience. I remember when Nafisa emailed me and she was just like, "Do you want to? We're like selecting a few people to do this pitch competition. This capital on the menu, and we really think that like you'd be a great candidate." And I'm like, "Me? Like I was so nervous. I remember like I barely slept the night before. I almost like a couple times like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But I knew that it would be great practice for I was like, it doesn't even matter about the money. Just like get up there. And I knew it would be a great experience to pitch because I've never done that before. I've never stood up in front of a panel and pitched our product. So yeah, it was very cool. We worked together. We did some prep work with you girls and just making sure we hit the right points. And Yeah, it ended up, it was so fun. And it was just in a room of such incredible people. Like that day was such a neat experience to be a part of. Like the other female founders that were in that room are wonderful. And like some of us, we've become really good friends, and we chat lots. And yeah, it was just a really cool experience to hear their stories too and some of their incredible products. So yeah, I was totally humbled to be the winner. I didn't expect that at all. Very, very grateful for that. But yeah, it was the winnings. We said we were going to do a video with it, and we're still working towards that promotional video. We have some stuff that we've done, but truly at that point, summer was coming and we need like cash flow. Like we needed to use this money to put towards we used it for a production run. So yeah, it was great. Yeah, because cash flow gets a little tricky in small businesses sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, even just something to make that a little easier. It's like it's a good investment no matter what.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And we've been fortunate that way that we've kind of, like I said, we've started really small, making it in our kitchen. So we put like a little bit of money towards that first batch. And what we would just take like whatever we would make and put it back into like make bigger batches each time kind of. And yeah, that's how we've grown. So yeah, that money was definitely helpful for just, another production run and getting some product on the shelves. So it was great.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And like just yeah, to kind of just work through that process of bootstrapping it and stuff. It's like you got to be scrappy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had no idea you'd never done a pitch competition before. Like that's yeah, it was powerhouses. There's so many amazing businesses, and it really could have been anyone's win because everyone did such an amazing job. But yeah, that's yeah, that's so great. And what I found was really interesting too, and I related to a lot, was you kind of mentioned how you aren't a salesperson, or you don't feel like you're really like a salesy type person. And I've kind of struggled with that over the years too, of trying to kind of like, I don't necessarily relate to that. But obviously some of your skills from teaching and other things have kind of like come together. Do you want to just kind of maybe talk about how that's kind of that career has maybe prepared you for this role?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that pitch competition would have been a good example. Like I get very nervous still to public speak, but I can do it quite well because I've taught for so many years and just been in front of class sizes of 30 people. They're kids, but it's still, you're still in front of them and done different presentations at school. My husband and I always get to be the token MCs for weddings, it seems. So it's just yeah, like I think the public speaking and just, knowing like as a educator, you kind of, when you're making a presentation, what's important and what are some of the key points you need to hit on. So I think that helped as well. I went over it with my husband, like, I don't know how many times the night before, a couple days before. So I think just like that practice also is really important to make sure that you are like, yeah, like I got up in front and I was like, pretended the panel was there. I don't know how many times I did that because you have to kind of do that and then trust that your instincts will take over when you're in front of a crowd, kind of. Because if you do go up there without practicing, it's going to be like, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell like when sometimes like some people are good at winging it, but yeah, you can usually tell when there's like a little bit more prep and stuff in there because you've done it enough that it's like, oh, where is my dramatic pause gonna go? What are the things that I really want to like emphasize and stuff? So like I think that yeah, that really shone through. And yeah, it's
Right.
just a reminder of like it's like, okay, if I really care about this, gotta dedicate some time to it. But yeah, it's
Absolutely. I
awesome.
think my teacher voice too, like I can project quite loud
Yeah, yeah,
if I need to. That's come with the job.
yeah. Projects confidence too, being
Yeah, I
able.
guess so. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, small pivot here, but one of the things I had written down that I wanted to ask you about was obviously like a good Caesar is amazing, and you can have a virgin version or
Mhm.
whatever. But you've kind of mentioned that there's some other options that people can do with the Caesar mix. What is like some of the kind of unique ideas that either you've suggested or you've heard from some of your customers that they.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's crazy how many different ways people have actually used it, which is really I always say I need to make like a recipe book for
Yeah.
Caesar mix, but finding the time to do that. Yeah. So first, like, makes a great virgin Caesar. I don't know how many times, like, my kids love it. Like, they're 6 and 8 and they know how to just put a little clam in a little mix and away they go. But yeah, we love it. Is number one, a marinade. You can throw it on like any type of like steak, chicken, pork chops, ribs, anything like that. The smoky, we have 4 different flavors now. So we have our original, dill pickle, smoky, and spicy. And so yeah, they all make like the really good marinades on a few different things, but smoky is awesome on like ribs and chicken. Same with the dill pickle, but the original, we'll put it even on like a roast. Like I'll like throw it just like on a roast and let it kind of like marinate that way. I have thrown it into like hamburger patties when I'm making up hamburgers. When I'm making up like spaghetti, I'll throw it in the spaghetti sauce, hamburger soup, anything like that. Like just anything that needs a little extra flavor. The spaghetti sauce was one of our very first customers. He's like, I love this in my spaghetti sauce. And then we had this one gal we know wouldn't let her husband use it for Caesars because she said it's her cooking sauce. She just like puts it with everything. So, and then like the rimmer, we like to put it on eggs. We like just sprinkle it on eggs or use it as a dry rub on like a pork loin. My brother likes the mix on wings. He'll like make some Caesar wings. So yeah, like there's so many things that you can do with it. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Well, and that's so funny too. I've like I just picked some up last time I ran into you at the FCC event. Yeah, it's like I want to try some of these things, but it's like I only have one bottle right now, so I want to save it for Caesars. So it's that back and
It's
forth where
tricky,
it's like
right?
I
I
get
know
next time.
it's definitely like I think from like a business perspective too, it's another sales angle. Like that's where we like because if we're at markets, it's people they either love Caesars or they don't like Caesars. Like they're and I it's most of the time it's the clamato juice that they just like turns them off. So instantly we'll go to like, well, we love to use it in cooking. We'll like throw it as a marinade, throw it in hamburger, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try some of that. So it's nice if you have a product that you can kind of like do like kind of multifaceted different angles.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the diversity of it is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great. Yeah, that's an excellent selling feature. So I was just kind of curious, again, kind of going back to like that entrepreneur who might be listening that's a few steps behind where you are.
Mhm.
So if they have a recipe that everyone's raving about, what's kind of your advice for them in terms of either deciding to go into business or like kind of taking those first steps?
I think just like keep getting it in people's hands. Like let people like try it. The more people that have tried it, the more people are going to talk. Like the more people are going to share something they love. And social media like is just unbelievable for that. Like we're not really big social media goers, but like we do have all the platforms. And I think if you can just like get it in the hands of people. Like they need to try it and share it. Like we're not super pushy. We don't take it all over the place with us. So we've been fortunate though that like our friends and family share it. So like I think like sometimes it comes like if you can share it with like people you love and trust and then they share it on, that helps. Yeah, just get lots of feedback. Like and too like on social media, you can like ask questions. Like what do people want to see? If it's like what type of flavors do they want? Like what and then like kind of, use that information to help build your next flavor or whatever it might be.
It's great. I love that.
Yeah.
So do you guys have anything exciting in the works, like next steps, new flavors, anything like that, or anything you can talk about, I guess?
Yeah. Well, we just came out with our original in 8-ounce bottles. So that's going to be great for the holiday season. Kind of funny story about that is when we first started, we started with an 8-ounce and a 16-ounce. And because I was like, well, people need to try it. Like they're not going to buy it if they're not going to buy the big bottle right away. They're going to want a taste of it. But we got to this place that when we were just making it ourselves, we weren't selling any of the 8-ounce bottles anymore because people just wanted the big bottle. And then so we stopped doing that. And then our new flavors came out in the 8-ounce. And then probably for 2 years, people are like, well, can we get the original in small? I'm like, no, you got to get it in the big. So I finally bit the bullet this year. And yeah, so that'll be nice because especially now that we're in grocery stores, which I can talk a little bit more about that too, but it's nice to have a smaller option for people to try. So I'm really excited about that for some of our like Sobeys and stuff or just like being in retail that you try the smaller option first. And then, yeah, so a couple of different like deals we're working on with different vendors and stuff. But I think really just kind of trying to maintain the partnerships we have and the relationships we have, and getting more people into those stores and trying it. So it's like moving on those shelves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You want to obviously keep those relationships strong and healthy, and like,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that's another area that kind of growth comes from too, is like being in those places and doing
Yeah.
it well. So,
Yeah. I think that's something like we are really grateful for our partnerships and being in quite a few stores now. But now, like, and I get so excited every time I go into a store and I see our product on the shelf. I'm like a kid. I'm just like we just stopped on the way. We were going to Edmonton and we stopped at the Co-op Baggerville gas station, and the marketplace is right there. I'm like, I have to run in. I just have to go and see if it's on the shelf. So I still get so excited. But then a little part of me gets like, if the bottles have been sitting there for a bit, I'm like, oh, what can we do here? Like
yeah,
how
yeah,
can we get this moving? And there's only one of me, so I'm like, I can't be around doing all these demos. So that gets a little bit stressful. It's like it's good to get into these stores, but then how do you keep the people trying it? So we're
yeah.
going to kind of try and put somewhat of a demo team together here and maybe do a few more small like in-store demos. I'm going to try to get to a few this holiday season. But yeah, it gets tricky that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to be one of the ongoing things for food businesses is getting people to actually try it first, because that is your big selling factor.
Right. Peter Chapman says you got to get it in the cart.
Yes, yes, off the shelf into the cart. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, oh, that's great. So with your different flavors and stuff, is there flavors that you have tried that didn't ever make the cut, or were you fairly certain on kind of what you guys wanted to do with them?
Yeah, we were pretty certain. Like we just like we're like, what works for Caesar? You got to have dill pickle. It's obvious, spicy, and then like the smoky was kind of like a sneaky one that we're like, some people might not love it. But some people that like it like love it because they like that smoke flavor. But again, with both or all three of these flavors, the food center was fantastic. Like it probably took us another year to get that recipe right. Like because like our dill pickle one, especially because we like when we would make a Caesar at home, we would put real pickle brine in it. So that's I'm like it needs to have. So we tried many different options, making our own brine, adding in just like dill pickle flavor. But no, like it had to be like the real brine. So that is we put real pickle brine into those, and then yeah, it's a lot, but just I think so. I kind of lost track of the question, but yeah, the flavors took a long time. We didn't really have any that didn't come out yet. Bryce has another one in mind he'd like to maybe come out with. I don't know how we're going to do it though. Maybe I need to talk to them a little bit. But yeah, and then like, I've always had this dream of like a garnish line. Like I think that we could do something like that. It'd be cool to get it into a canned cocktail, but that's like a whole nother ball game too. And
Totally.
I'm just like, I kind of love with what like sometimes I think if you have too many different SKUs, it gets too watered down. And then like for us, like I don't want all of these SKUs sitting in our warehouse and not moving. Like, and then you run the risk of like stuff expiring. So I think we're just like going to stay focused on what we know works, what people love, and just like keep getting more people to try. There's lots of Canadians, even Americans that haven't tried our Caesar mix now. So yeah.
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 Yeah, no, that's great, because that's kind of some advice we end up giving people. Sometimes, they've got success in one area and they end up kind of expanding maybe a little bit too much, and there's too many things, and they have to do that work to kind of pare down to like, okay, let's look at like what are the things that are actually like selling and like moving the needle and stuff. And it's great to have 12 flavors, but if four of them are the ones doing the majority of the heavy lifting, it's like, do we need to be putting all this like time and resources into some of those things? So I think it's very smart to focus on what you're doing well. But yeah, it's always innovation's always fun and exciting. So
It is. And especially for like your like regular customer base that like, I mean, when we came out with those new 3 flavors, it was unbelievable. Like the support we got, the stores, like everybody ordered. So it was like, now that you've kind of got like this trusted brand, people are like, you have something new, we want to try that. So like, it would be great to come out with another flavor, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure that it would, take off like initially. It would be really, really have a good response. Yeah, so I think that would be something that we could look at doing. It's just sometimes like trying to find the time to build all that in is really tricky.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any tips for kind of like time management for anyone listening?
I don't know. I'm pretty like strict on like writing everything down. Like I don't know if I have my day book that I'm just like and color code everything. But that's the teacher in me, I think. But yeah, I think just like I want to say like prioritize yourself and balance. But like I literally listened to a podcast like the Allie lady from Poppy. I'm like, I think she's fantastic. Like I just and she was like, people say I have balance, but like when you're an entrepreneur, there's not a lot of balance. Like you have like you're like that seems to be, like where a lot of your energy goes. But yeah, I think that just find time in the day that you can really set aside to like and just like make this is teacher again, but we had like Stephen Covey had like this like a quadrant, like what's like urgent and important, what's like urgent but not important, what's like, like not important and not urgent, and then like what's like important but not urgent. Like, and you can kind of like make like a little bit of a quadrant of like, these are like my must do's. Like, I really need to get these done today. And here's my other list of like things that do need to happen, but if they happen in the next week, that's okay too. I don't know. That's like, I kind of try to like make like a list of like things that like this needs to happen today, this can happen later, and this is like on my mind.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that idea of those quadrants because it does help because sometimes you can get into the mindset it's like everything's important, everything's urgent.
For
And
sure.
then to sit down and look at that, that's great. And I'm kind of the same in terms of just with when I've got a lot on the go with work and stuff, it's like, okay, I really need to just get this all out of my head and like onto a piece of paper, onto my time like management software or whatever, just something so it's not just like swimming around in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Another thing I do, and I don't, this, like, I like, if I'm really busy, I'll map my day out like to the minute almost. Like, I like at between like and if I'm waking up early, like between 6 and 7 a.m., these are the things I need to accomplish between like this by, and if because I work from home still too. So like there's a matter of like housework. Okay, I'm going to set aside, like I get this hour in the day and that I am just doing housework, like, so it's tricky, but like, I do find, and I don't always follow it exactly, but if I can kind of like stay within reason, I feel like I can like get things accomplished too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about marketing before, but I just kind of wanted to like pivot back around to that. So what are you finding is kind of the most effective for you guys with marketing? Like obviously we talked a little bit about like demos and then social media and stuff. What's kind of the most effective? And yeah, just curious to hear a little bit more about your new person that you have
Oh yeah,
working with
for
you.
sure. She's fantastic. Marketing, I think, yeah, it's definitely a beast on its own. But recently, we kind of have started doing like a few more ads, and I think you can like target different areas. So that's good. If as long we're gonna like adjust our ads in the next little bit and make sure they're a little more effective to like different locations. Demos are great because anytime somebody sees your name, like they're somebody new is trying your product, it's always a win because you hope that they're going to share it with somebody. Also, like markets are fantastic. Like if you can get out into like get your face into a market, it's like people will see you, they'll recognize you, and then hopefully they see you in a shelf. And then they're like, oh, I wanted to try that. But I think I've always like if people ask for a donation or something, because lots of people ask small businesses for donations. We're fortunate with like our product. I just give them like I'll donate a gift box. So I think that like anytime you have like an event and if you can get your product in front of like a group of people, just like the more people that can see it, the better. So different things like that. And yeah, I don't know, marketing is we haven't spent a ton on marketing. It's just been we're very like fortunate that it's been a lot of word of mouth, really. We've kind of been that way. But yeah, social media is the way of marketing, it seems these days. And I'm trying to get like my face on our page more because it's just like people buy into the story. People buy into like that they want to see that we're just real people. Like we're not living some like glamorous, big fancy, like we're just like a mom and a dad and like grinding. Like
Yeah.
just trying to like get through like the day. And we've got like, yeah, 2 young kids and we're running this business together and we've got all these extracurricular things. So, but I think that we have, yeah. So I've always kind of had somebody help me with social media because again, when I said earlier, like I know my areas of expertise and things that I'm not good at. And like, I am not creative. I cannot put stuff like that together. It has never been like my strong suit. So I've always had somebody kind of helping me on that end. But yeah, recently we've kind of like acquired like a family member and she is so talented and so phenomenal and she just knows our brand. And I think like putting people around you that really like support you and understand and are like excited about what you're doing, it helps. So yeah, we just hope that that like continues to grow, and she can do like more with us as our business grows. I'd really love to like take stuff like that on. But yeah, so she's even got us onto TikTok.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And it's funny, there was like one reel I made about like shipping to the co-op, a couple pallets, and on Instagram I think it got like 3,000 views. It has gone like viral on, it's got like over 55,000 views. Like it's crazy. TikTok is like and I mean all of our other ones are just like normal reels and doing things, but it is a unique audience I think on TikTok. So it's definitely some like younger generation too.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I think just like doing what you can to get your product in front of people, and yeah, that's kind of
Yeah. Yeah, I think on TikTok people love that like real behind the scenes, like seeing you and your day to day doing some of these things. So yeah, it's definitely a great thing to take advantage of if you're able to, if you
yeah.
can, if you can, yeah.
Right. Like I couldn't like the idea of doing TikTok earlier. I was like, I can't even like do it like on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah,
And then so she was like, I really think we should be on there. So yeah, I'm glad that that's worked out.
for sure. Well, and especially yeah, someone who's motivated, excited to do it and stuff, because otherwise sometimes you end up with a TikTok that has 4 videos on it forever. So yeah, it's great that
Yes,
you have
no,
that.
yeah, you definitely got to keep. And I think that's like, I don't understand how the algorithms work and stuff, but like posting often and like engaging seems to be so important. Like just getting, so yeah. And you're going to get like people like good engagement. You're going to get not great engagement sometimes. It's okay. It's really cool if like sometimes we've had like the odd comment that people don't like our stuff or upset about something. And like we've had other customers go, like, we'll never engage or like say something negative. That's just not our personality. And we've had like other people be like, hey, their stuff's really good, or they did this for you. Like, that's really good. And I'm like, thanks, guys. So people step up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. Well, and it's such a good reminder too, because I think it's hard for people to put themselves out there, even if it is your business, it's still, putting yourself out there. And sometimes people struggle with the idea of that and stuff. So love to hear that you've got the community support and as someone who's tried the product, I know the quality's there. So it's just a reminder, like no matter how good you are, like some people just aren't gonna like what you're giving out, no matter what it is.
Totally. And we also like another thing about marketing is, and some founders and I have talked about this, is like, don't be stressed about like the number of followers. It's like quantity, or sorry, quality, not quantity. Like you want to have, like, we don't even have 3,000 followers, but I bet you out of those 3,000 followers, probably 2,000 of them have tried our stuff at least. So they're like I'd rather have that than having 10,000 followers and like nobody knows who we are or what we are. Like, I don't know. I think that there's something, yes, it's always great to have a growing account and like more support of people that have tried it. But I think that don't get hung up on like the amount of people following.
Yeah, some people refer to it as like kind of vanity metrics of like, you know,
Yeah.
this and that. But yeah, absolutely a highly engaged audience versus a massive audience that doesn't really care what you're doing. The highly engaged one is better for a business every
Yeah,
day.
for sure. For sure. Yeah.
All right. So we're getting close to wrapping up here, but I just wanted to ask kind of at the end here, is there like a pinch me moment you've had or like a milestone that you think that was like really big in kind of your progress with like Life Caesar?
Honestly, every day. I like sometimes I am just I am blown away and grateful for what it's turned into. But I think sometimes just like seeing it on the shelf, like what I say, when I go into a grocery store and I am just like shopping like a regular person and I see our product on the shelf, that just is like so cool and humbling to me. Like I think that's some of our biggest moments. I think too, just like some of our like months like financially like that we look at and I think how did this like this is wild like I remember Bryce and I sitting down and doing math and being like if we sold a case a week this is how much Caesar money we could make, you know, and just like I think those moments are pretty like it's pretty cool to see. Even like yesterday we're in our warehouse and my dad's helping me move some pallets around and I'm like, hey, take a minute, do you ever think you'd see this much Caesar mix in front of you, you know, like just so lots of moments like that just being in the food center, like seeing our stuff being made on a mass like scale, like or seeing like pallets being delivered, it's very cool. And it's just like it's lots of pinch me moments. The fact that I get to like work from home and be home with my kids and do what I love. Like I really love being an entrepreneur. I love growing this. And I love being their mom that can be there for them whenever I need to. Yeah, lots of good things have come.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Best of both all worlds.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So to wrap up here, I don't always remember, but I try and do like some fun, just kind of like rapid fire questions at the end. So we'll just do a couple quick fun rapid fire questions to wrap things up.
Okay.
Okay. So for Caesar, gin, vodka, or something wild?
Gin.
Go to Caesar garnish.
Pickles.
Morning Caesar or evening Caesar?
Oh, I like a morning Caesar.
Start the day off.
Yeah. On a Sunday, of course.
Yes, yeah. Not right before school drop off. Fair enough. Okay, food. So poutine or pierogies?
Ooh, poutine.
Okay, first food you ever learned to make?
I think it was cracked dinner.
Nice. Is there one ingredient you couldn't live without?
Caesar rimmer.
Fair enough. All right, and outside of a Caesar, what's your favorite summer drink?
Ooh, I like a good like sangria or white wine, something
Yep.
light and fruity. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, red
All
in the
right.
winter, white in the summer.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Sandra, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Obviously, you have a ton going on over there. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you taking the time and joining us.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully I can help somebody out. And if anybody ever has questions, they're more than welcome to reach out. That's I think this community is all about, is that I'm like this afternoon I have a call with another founder just asking him some questions, you know, that how can I make this better? So I think it's a lot of we're all going through the same thing and we just need to like work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to see that support. We try and help foster it, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's great to see that that's just happening organically. And Canadians in general, I think we like to help each other out when we can. So
absolutely. Totally. Okay, well, thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you to our listeners for indulging your entrepreneurial appetite with this episode of Friends of Feedies, brought to you by Feed Canada, our funding partner ISET, and founding partner, the Saskatchewan Food Centre. If anything we have discussed today has ignited an entrepreneurial fire within you, but you're not quite sure how to get started, or you're craving mentorship and coaching to help grow your business, please reach out to us at feed.ca. That's FEAD.ca. Connect with us on social media. We're sprinkled all over the digital landscape, and our team is ready to provide the mentorship and coaching you need to flourish. At Feed, we're here to empower women in the agri-food industry, so don't hesitate to reach out to us to join our vibrant community of foodpreneurs. Until next time, bake those dreams into reality, stay hungry for success, and continue to nourish your entrepreneurial spirit with Feed. Bon appetit.